Unlock the power of the merkaba to jump dimensions. Warping space-time with your energy body to travel the universe. Magic is nothing more than being able to warp space-time to your will. The merkaba is a sacred 4D geometric symbol which contains all forms within itself. Maoshan sorcerers discovered how to combine spheres and triangles with their energy bodies to open space-time portals. This is the sacred combination of spheres and triangles, as well as the 8-sided symbol which actually unfolds into the merkaba. Practices that I have been sharing with you on the shop in the thunderwizard.com website are practices that will allow you to jump into different dimensions. When you master this energy, you can then take it into meditation and use it to literally shift dimensions like you would change numbers on a combination lock. We don't live in a single universe. We live in a universe of probabilities. The universe that you experience is the one that you unconsciously choose and manifest. Using these practices allows you to tap into the merkaba so that you can shift into the dimension that you prefer to live in. Go to thunderwizard.com and click on Shop. Solar Flash Update 2024. The Solar Flash will create 3 new Earths, a 2D, a 3D, and a 5D. Each human must choose. Get my books on Amazon, Kindle, or Audible, or at michaelwilliamdenny.com. Not the kind that abduct, those are something else, but higher dimensional beings of light. And they have been educating me on the nature of the multiverse, things that you cannot learn in the 3rd dimension, things you cannot learn from science or religion. And one of those things is that they let me know that there was going to be an Ascension event. And they showed me in a vision which was tailored to me and all of the symbolism that I respond to psychologically, so I won't get into that. But it was very clear the message that there was going to be an event that everybody would see, and it would be an event that would be of a highly profound spiritual nature. the truth is that everything you always have most deeply desired is the truth. You've wanted to be loved. You've wanted to be seen. You've wanted to be accepted. You've wanted to be safe. And that is the truth. When we break through the barrier of the third dimension, we connect to higher dimensional anything, just anything outside of the third dimension, the first thing that hits you is the unbelievable love. That's the only thing that exists. And that you experience how beautiful and loved and special you are. Hello, my fellow human light beings. Welcome back. This is our bi-weekly live stream. Normally, this is the live guided interdimensional meditation. We do this every Wednesday and Saturday, but 2 Wednesdays ago, we did an extremely powerful meditation that we'll talk about. It had huge impacts on the earth, huge. And I personally am still recovering from what happened to me as a result of that. So today we are going to be talking about 5D Earth, at least what I've seen, and some of the things that have happened to me and the experiences that I have when I'm over there. And I'll share with you more of the messages I've gotten from my light being friends. So welcome to the Thunder Wizard YouTube channel. It's going to be interesting. 5D is coming for Earth and nothing can stop it. As always, my strong suggestion is you question your reality and then change it. Welcome back. All right, so yes, I am still recovering from what happened on the 14th, Wednesday the 14th. I don't know if I truly yet completely know or appreciate what happened and what we accomplished. What I can tell you is that what has continued to happen for me as I continue to energetically recover from what happened is that I've noticed definitely a change within myself. And one of the things that makes me believe this is a real and a fundamental change is because it started off, the first few days or week after we did that meditation, I noticed that something was different. I couldn't really put my finger on it. I didn't feel, like I was high or floating on a cloud. I didn't feel anything like that. But I came to the realization that there was a negativity that I had always had with me, that negative voice in the back of your head telling you what a piece of crap you are, worrying about, what's going to happen in the future and money this and housing that and, whatever, everybody's got something. If I was in a relationship, I'd be worried about that. And I was wondering, what is it that feels different? And I realized that it wasn't that I felt super amazing, it's just that something negative was gone. And then what I realized, I don't know if it was today or yesterday, might have been today, as I checked in with myself, actually I just came to, as I was just doing my normal day, I just realized, wow, not only do I not have that negative thing in there, but there's almost like there's a positive voice that has replaced it. And I do feel the energy of the light beings, and if you haven't experienced it, when you hear me talk about that, the feelings behind connecting with them are incredibly powerful and incredibly blissful. So, there's all different kinds of that. There's all different flavors of it. But the general thing is that it feels just amazingly beautiful and loving and wonderful. And that has always been the case. But what would happen before is that when I would feel it, my first response would to feel like I was going through some kind of anxiety. In fact, the first times that I received communications and energy from these beings, I thought I was having like some kind of heart palpitations or something, because it felt like my heart was, and it might have been, my heart might have been, beating faster, but it was definitely this feeling of anxiety, just like non-specific anxiety, and then if I allowed it to, I could turn that into some kind of fear. I learned over time to increasingly relax into it. What has happened since Wednesday is that when those feelings come, and sometimes there's no message attached, it's just higher dimensional energy. And let me be clear, I've never felt this before June of 2022, when I first started doing human initiated contact, what I call interdimensional meditation. And the reason why that's significant is because since my mid to late 20s, I was doing the spirit fighting, the most powerful. If you're doing the Maoshan spirit fighting, even if you're a master in Qigong and Tai Chi and yoga, you know that energy is something that you can't find it anywhere else. It's on a whole other frequency. And so that is, I've come to find out, higher dimensional frequencies we're tapping into. So I've had that for, my entire adult, half of my life, more than half of my life. But on June of 2022, when I started interacting with those light beings, the frequency and the power and the level of energy and bliss and all of that was completely off the charts. So when I tell you that I've had that and I make a big deal about it, it is a big deal. There's nothing on, in 3D that comes close to it. Not even energy practices that are, breaking the barriers. Nothing comes close to, and that's just my experience. You can have yours. You don't need to have the same experience as me. Anyway, I got in the weeds here. What am I talking about? So I guess what I'm saying is that because there isn't a lot of drama associated with it, like if somebody, takes ayahuasca or mushrooms or something, and they'll be real, there'll be so much DMT in their brain that they're, super high all the time. I've had those experiences. People have Kundalini awakenings. People suffer from Kundalini psychosis. You can do the Maoshan spirit fighting and get super high on the energy. There's those big highs. And, some people go bonkers and, have all kinds of dramatic ups and downs. And it's really easy when you're having a big dramatic, up experience that you can think, oh my God, I'm enlightened. And then you come down from that and you realize, you're not. So what I'm appreciating about this is that there isn't a whole lot of drama involved. But if I really look at it, I can't deny the shift in me. I'm fundamentally still the same person. I still have the same negative proclivities. They haven't popped up as, my self-defense mechanism instincts aren't popping up as much. They still do. So it's not like I've achieved any kind of perfection. I want to be clear about that. It's just I can tell something's been healed, perhaps permanently. We're still early. It's only been a couple of weeks. But listening to other people, they're having the same kinds of experiences. Other people that did that meditation on Wednesday have gotten back to me and said something fundamental has shifted. Now, I've been doing energy work, powerful energy work, for more than half of my life, my entire adult life. And I've never had the meridian blowout that I did from this. It was very specific, and I was in a lot of pain, and it was just on the periphery of my skin. You know, and it was a meridian. I mean, I know what they are. They're just on the periphery of the skin. They just go in a little bit. Nothing else. Nothing internal was wrong. Nothing physical. There were some slight symptoms associated with the internal organ it's associated with, but it wasn't anything big. It was very tiny. But it was very clear that my meridian system had been overloaded. And I think that's important. If you remember, there was a video not too long ago where I got very upset because I was talking to my light being friends and they told me something I didn't want to hear, which was they said, we have to tell you that you're going to be attacked. Now that was, you know, again, when you're dealing with higher dimensional beings that aren't from Earth, they're not speaking English to you, you know, and they're telepathically communicating. My brain translates things the best that it can. And they're in another dimension and they experience things differently. And so, you know, in any case, I got this message, you're going to be attacked. And then, you know, and then I would flip out at that before they could go on, and they'd be like, you don't understand, you have to listen to what we're saying. And they told me that a couple of times and I got upset with them and I said, I don't want to hear that. Don't be telling me that. What am I supposed to do with that? They said, we're going to get you through it. And I'm like, what do you mean? I didn't know what that meant. I initially got the feeling maybe it was, you know, I would be attacked online, or I didn't know what it was. But I couldn't tolerate being afraid of something I couldn't understand, so I just put it out of my head. But I'm pretty sure that this is what they were talking about. That it wasn't that I was going to be attacked. In fact, one point, you know, there were days where I would check in with them and I'd go, okay, so this attack, is it going to be this? Is it going to be that? And then I said, is it going to be a physical attack? And I got a big yes. And I went, oh, what the? You know, energy weapons, somebody going to, you know, what's going to happen? I didn't know what it was. And I really had to put a lot of effort into just not worrying about it. Because they kept on saying it's gonna open things up for you. It's gonna open things up for what we're doing. You know, and you know, so again, this is the problem. Communicating with higher dimensional beings, you know, from other galaxies and planets and things like that. So I'm pretty sure that's what they meant. That I suffered a very severe physical attack as a result of you know, what we were doing. And I take responsibility for that. In that meditation, especially when we were, and I have to say this to you, if you're doing these meditations and you do interdimensional meditation on your own, we have opened up a portal. It's open. And that portal is from the galactic center into the center of the sun. By the way, I was just, you know, flittering around on YouTube, and you know, there's a guy on there, I forget his name, and he, you know, talks about the sun and solar waves and Schumann resonance. He's you know, it looks like he's a spiritual guy, and he's also younger guy. And he was showing, maybe you saw it, he was showing that there were these weird structures that were being shot out of the sun recently. They haven't been directed at Earth, but they look like smoke rings coming out of the sun. And you know, he's never seen anything like it before. Whether that means anything or not, I don't know, but I found that interesting. But I'm here to tell you that we opened a portal. It's open. So if you're doing these interdimensional meditations, and I uploaded the one that we did, my apologies, YouTube won't let me download it without paying them, so I had to just screen record it, even though it's my video. I had to screen record it and then upload it. You can go and do that if you haven't. Or if you want the better quality one, go to the live live section on my channel. I'm getting a lot of energy, so It's hard to talk when they're putting energy into me. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, I forgot what I was saying. We've opened a portal. We've opened a portal, and I can feel, even when I think about it, just all I have to do, and just now I felt a twinge in my in my meridian there. It's still not healed yet. So whenever this is why I can't do the meditation. The moment that I attach myself or even think about going into 5D, that thing lights up, and so I need to give it a break. But whenever you do the interdimensional meditation, as I said, even when I think about it, I can feel that the portal is open. So go there, and of course call your light being friends and your guides, and go to the galactic center. It's a black hole at the center of our galaxy. And chant the Huar mantra and send energy. The intention is you're sending the Huar energy directly through the galactic center to the center of the sun. It started. So, and by the way, you've been hearing about this for who knows how long, that there's going to be energy sent from the galactic center to our sun. What you didn't know is that you are the ones who are doing it. So don't wait around for somebody else to do it. You're the ones that do it. The light beings can't do it because they're not from Earth. You have to be from Earth. And so go in your astral body, follow the protocol and send the energy with the intention of sending higher dimensional energy directly into the sun and then onto Earth and, create the solar flash event. So I can tell you that portal is open, and it's continuously open, and it's open for us to go and do that. I can't at the moment. I have to tell you, this is I'm not doing this for dramatic effect. This is not, tough guys don't do that. This is it's embarrassing to have that happen, but this is something that I tend to overdo things. And my intention when we did that was I was going to bring it. I was going to put everything I had into it. And I didn't have the mindset of even if it kills me, but I definitely had the mindset of I'll completely lose myself in this. And I did. I went really deep into that meditation. And anyway, I'm paying the price for that now, but we cracked that seal open. It can't be closed. And there's no turning back. And the feeling that I get, in fact, we've actually, a few weeks earlier, the light beings were celebrating because we were doing, I don't remember what we did, but we did something out there in the live meditation, and they said, "You did it." I didn't know what they were talking about. They were celebrating. You did it. You beat them. You destroyed, we did something. We broke some kind of energetic infrastructure for the dark forces. It's broken. Can't be fixed. Now, I don't know how long it's going to take for us to see it. I have the feeling, when I'm watching what's happening with this election, politics is such a joke now. It's just, don't get me wrong. It's not that I don't have any awareness that, there is a wounded animal that isn't, backed in a corner and could definitely still, cause some harm before it bleeds out and dies. But that's pretty much the feeling that I get. And again, I don't have to be right about any of this. I don't have any attachment to any of this. It is getting harder and harder not to believe it. Which is why I've been telling you the truth. the things that I haven't been telling you for 2 years. The absolutely fantastical, unbelievable things that I have been told and been experienced. And again, I was told what we did on Wednesday. Apparently we got the ball rolling, much earlier, but what we did on Wednesday, they told me that I was going to do it. I just got hit again as I said that. So again, I'm just transparent and honest with you. I hope you can see that I don't have any delusional attachment to this. I don't need any of this to be true. But it's getting harder and harder to disbelieve it. So with that said, I want to get into continuing to share more of my experience with you. By the way, before we go any further, while we're still in 3D, it's probably smart to do this. If you want to support this channel, subscribe, like, comment, hit the bell button, all that stuff. Of course, do the live interdimensional meditations. Right now, you can only do them recorded because I'm not leading any. You want to lead live meditations on your channel, go right ahead. I don't own any of this. I'm not trying to monopolize any of this. You're free to create your own groups, do whatever. So do the live interdimensional meditations as often as possible. Follow and like the Path of the Thunder Wizard on Facebook. Share Thunder Wizard YouTube video links and Facebook posts on all of your social media. Subscribe to the thunderwizard.com Patreon site, which is you go to thunderwizard.com, and when you do, you'll get to a Patreon site. Now, you can subscribe there for free. You won't get anything as a result of that. I think when people end up purchasing stuff, they end up subscribing. I don't know how it works. But by the way, don't buy anything in the shop from the phone app. Do not use the phone app. They will charge you more money. Use your browser. So that gets me to the next thing. Go to thunderwizard.com and look around in the shop for all of the videos and all of the teachings. You can find it there. Anything that you do, subscription is best because that's recurring, and I have to pay rent every month. That is recurring. I have to pay other bills every month. So, when you subscribe, you know that every month you're helping me stay on here. But people are really starting to get something out of the Maoshan 5-element spirit fighting forms. And I'm really happy to see that, and I think it's a direct result of the shift. So go check that out. Tai Chi is the thing now. The Om mantra is the third dimensional mantra for Earth, and Tai Chi is the Qigong practice for the masses. When we get to 5D, it's going to be Huar. That's going to be the new mantra for maybe not the only one, but it's going to be one of them for sure. And the 5-element Maoshan spirit fighting is going to replace Tai Chi. People are going to be like, oh yeah, Tai Chi, that was that 3D thing we used to do, right? Yeah, so go check that out at thunderwizard.com. All right, so now that I'm done doing the business, let's get back to what I want to talk to you about, which is what I've seen on my 5D Earth, what my friends have told me. I'm trying to find, I got this AI thing that, I can type in and it'll create pictures for me. And I'm really trying to capture what the colors are like in my 5D world. I'm using my words very specifically, my 5D world. I don't know what your 5D world is. I don't need you to adopt mine unless you want to. If you want to, fine. I've talked to people who say, I can't figure out one. Can I have yours? Absolutely, you can have mine. It's free for everybody. Come check it out. If you want to go look online, you can go search for where mine is going to be. It's not going to be on 3D Earth. In fact, I keep getting this feeling it's going to be on another planet, like another planet in another solar system or something like that. I don't know how it all works. That's just the feeling that I get. I think I was told that once, but at the same time, it's still Earth, but it's 5D. Anyway, I can't make. I can't try and figure it out here in 3D. But if you want to go look online to see what it looks like, go and type in Noosa, Noosa. Noosa. It's in Australia. It's a national park, and it's a very famous surf spot. Mine, of course, is going to be much less crowded. And if you've been there, if there's any Aussies on here and you've been there, if you know where the road ends and the parking lot is, that all of that is going to be. I'm getting just filled with energy as I talk about it. Actually, it's not going to be. It already exists. As I understand it, I've already built it. It already exists. So it's just a question of me, shifting up to that. And of course, all of you as well. You are all welcome. It's where the parking lot is. There's I don't know how to describe it. It's a there's I don't know how to describe it, but there's, imagine where the parking lot is. Imagine that there's this big open area, of course, right overlooking right on the edge of the ocean. You can walk to the ocean from where it is. And I think there might be some structures there. I think like there's a little like, it's not a house, it's sort of like a little info, hut or something like that. Anyway, right around that area. But anyway, there's going to be this big area it's an energy portal. My throne is going to be on there. It's going to be a crystal throne, and on it there's this big naga, made out of crystal that comes out like that. And it's got all kinds of other cool doodads that I keep adding to it and putting in it and energizing it. It's directly over an energy portal, and then behind, and there's this big like an open courtyard kind of a thing, and that's where a lot of things happen. One of the things that happens there is anybody that goes there. I mean, it's not like the White House or something like that, where there's guards and you can't get in. It's still a park. I mean, I'm going to keep it a national. Sorry, not a national, but an open park for anybody to come, and people will still, like they do now. People will come there and vacation and walk around, and very, very low key and mellow, and there will be performances there. There will be musical performances. There will be sacred rituals. I've toyed with the idea of having continuous mantra being chanted, like the Huar breath being chanted like I do on my channel. I have it in the background all the time. Well, some things like that, but and then special sacred performances like I planned on doing some getting back and doing African drumming and doing performances, but it's all about energy and healing and empowerment. And there will be beings from other planets. They'll come and they'll do their thing, whatever it is. It's going to be like that. And then behind that, and as I see it now, I'm actually seeing it with this really cool like rainbow, circular. I don't know. I'm getting little pieces of it. The sky there. Let me talk about the sky. The sky there is. There's rainbows coming out of everything. Like the picture behind me. You see, it's got all, like, it's not rainbows, but it's got like that color. It's like that. But they're just constantly coming off of everything. The plants, the rocks, everything. You look up in the sky and it's just glittering like that. And at night, it's never like pitch black. At night, there are these like Milky Way galaxies, but the lights are all different colors. The stars are all different colors, and they move, and there's waves to them. And so even in the middle of the night, you can get up and walk around, and it's not like it'd be, you know, super bright, but you'll be able to see, and everything that will be it's just like it's, you know, these rainbow lights everywhere coming straight off. I mean, you know, and you'll feel it. You will feel the light. You'll feel the different colors. It'll go through you. You'll be able to feel it. In fact, you'll be able to breathe it in, and in fact, you can. I'm realizing as I'm sitting there that you could just focus on it and pull it toward you and nourish yourself. Like you can feed your cells of your body. You can nourish and balance. It's like, you know, air. You know, you want to get a big breath of air, you take a big breath. If you want to get some of that, you can breathe it in, pull it in. And then behind that, behind where my throne is, and by the way, it's not my throne, it's my throne, but if I'm not sitting in it, anybody can go and sit in it. That's something that I'm absolutely going to make a thing. Anybody can go sit in it, and you can sit in it and you can be king. You can sit in it and intend whatever you want for the world. And you can sit in it and you can feel the power. It's alive. Let's talk about Mother Earth for a moment. So I was told a while back, I would go into meditation. There's all kinds of beings that are there, and I have relationships with these beings that are there all the time, and I show up and, you know, whatever. But one of the things started happening is I would show up and I'd sit in my throne and I'd do my business, whatever it was, or, you know, try and create things or see it, or, you know, whatever I was doing. And I was told that I had a daughter over there. And I'm like, oh, okay. That's, by the way, this is what I do when I'm doing these interdimensional meditations on my own. Whatever I'm shown, whatever I'm told, I just say, okay. I you know, even though my insides will try and go, what? I just go, oh, okay, yeah, great. And bring her to me. So I get there, and I can't remember who told me about it. It's somebody over there. It might have been Thoth, or it might have been. I haven't told you about all the people that I interact with there. It could have been one of the many other people. Like my mother is the sun. There's a whole story behind that. I won't get into that. You can interpret that however you want, and you will be right. My mother is the sun, and she comes and talks to me, and she'll like float down, and, you know, ball of light, and then she'll walk out, and, you know, she shows up all kinds of different ways. Could have been her. In any case, somebody said, you have a daughter here, and I said, oh, wow, I'd love to meet her. And this little girl, beautiful little girl, probably like 3 or 4 years old, very happy, running over to me, jump in my lap, hug me, daddy, and plays with me. And this went on for I don't know how long. And I'd go into meditation, and she'd either show up or I'd call her to me, and she would show up, and we would talk. And she wanted, I hope I don't get emotional here, she wanted to know that I was always going to be there for her, and that I would always protect her. And so, of course, I said, absolutely. I'm nothing can touch you when you're in fact, you're inside of me. At one point I merged her, and she's inside of me. She's in my heart, where she lives. And of course, she's safe there. Nothing can touch her in there. Nothing negative. And so after a while, and I created this relationship with this little girl, I found out that that little girl is our planet. It's Earth. And she told me, she said, I'm going to reincarnate. And I'm gonna reincarnate as a little girl. And she said, I need you to be my father. I need you to protect me. She said, you've been my father forever. You're my father. And I need you to protect me. And I only trust you. I picked you. You know, all this kind of stuff. Again, I don't say this to make myself sound or look anything. I'm just being transparent with you. And again, I'm not attached to any of it. I don't need any of it to be true. But I'm just telling you what I experienced, what I saw. Believe it in whatever way you want. I'm just not being a secret anymore about any of this. So what I've come to understand, and I've talked about this, there's a video that I made. If you look for it, you can find it, that there's going to be 3 Earths, and this is going to be her higher self, which is going to be born into it's going to be a new version of herself, but she's a little girl and she needs protection. And so my main job as I sit on that throne, and what makes me, quote, the king, has nothing to do, let me be clear about that, has absolutely nothing to do with making rules or proclamations or laws, nothing like that. The one thing that I've come to find out, and I can tell you the story how I've talked about it before, but I came to the conclusion that the universe must be a place of autonomy. That every single conscious being must be completely autonomous. Nobody can tell anybody anything. Nobody can dictate to anybody. So, what does that mean? Obviously, we have extremely evil people who are very divorced from their soul, who are on this planet. I've run into people that I know and love who are pushing away this energy. So they're obviously not going to end up on that same version of Earth that I'm experiencing. So where are they going to go? They're going to go where they want to go, whether they're conscious of it or not. And as I've been shown, again, I'm completely open to be wrong about this, or learn more details. I'll share if I find out. As you've seen in many of my videos, when I'm wrong, I tell you I'm wrong. So, but as I understand it right now, we are creating 3 octaves of Earth. So obviously the Earth I'm talking about is the highest octave, and what we might call 5D. Beneath that, and this one I know the least about, so I'm guessing, but the one in the middle is going to be like a 3D, maybe a higher, sort of more chaotic version of 3D. And then there's what I call 2D. It's still 3D, but it's going to be, like the Earth that I'm talking about is filled with all of these rainbow colors, and you can communicate with everything. And so imagine, and you can feel and communicate all of the beings and human beings. So imagine the opposite of that. You're completely isolated. There's no color there. It's more like it's turned into black and white. You're in a 1984 slave world. So that's my understanding. There's going to be 3 of those. And so autonomous, the one law in the universe is that everybody must be given the right to be autonomous. So if that's true, and it's true as I understand it, that the frequency is such that only people who, either want to vibrate on that level or are already vibrating on that level are going to get there. Greedy, angry, destructive people won't be able to, even if they wanted to. I mean, right now, try and tell any of this stuff to a lot of people. It'll just bounce off their heads. It would have bounced off of mine 3 years ago. I wouldn't have listened to any of it. So the people who end up in those places are going to end up there because that's what their soul needs. They're not done experimenting. They have to learn the hard way. And human beings, 3D is such that nobody ever shifts unless they have to. So if you're listening to me and you're shifting, it means that you've reached the end of your tether. And let's get rid of all of the ideas about enlightenment. Let's get rid of all that nonsense. I haven't experienced anything even close to what that new agey, enlightenment thing is, where all of a sudden you reach this state and you're full of bliss and you have no problems and everything. I've never seen that. I've never experienced it. And the past couple of years, I've been places that only supposedly enlightened people have been, and I still haven't seen that down here. I haven't experienced it. I shared with you how I've shifted, but enlightenment is that new age superficial generality. That's nonsense. So drop all of that. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you could be listening to me and be in a huge amount of pain. You could be listening to me and you could be dealing with psychological, emotional, mental, physical issues, and that doesn't preclude you, because this is a multiverse where the one rule is autonomy. You get to decide what you want. Get rid of the idea of karma that you've been told. Karma does exist, but it is self-generated. So if you have karma to be born on planet Earth with a certain limitation, you go, oh my God, why would God do that to somebody? That is karmic, but the soul in that person completely, totally, autonomously volunteered, and not only volunteered, wanted that, because there was a lesson in there about power. You go to the gym, you want to be strong, you're going to have to push some heavy weight. You're going to have to really struggle. You're going to have to risk. You want to be, the best in the world, you're going to have to risk maybe, tearing a muscle. So the same is true. I mean, look at me. Look at what I did to myself. I don't think that was a plan. I don't think that was me. I mean, I needed 2 things. I needed to know that what I'm doing out there is not just fantasy. Because if I was just fantasizing, there's no way that energy meridian would have reacted the way that it did. No way. That meridian doing that means that there was huge amounts of energy flowing through my physical body, more than my physical body could handle. And if I was just fantasizing, that wouldn't have happened. It means I was really hooked up to something. I'm saying that because it's true for you as well. If you're doing these things, you feel these jolts, you feel the energy, you feel the bliss, or you see your life change. I mean, there are people, again, I could show you pictures of people that have been doing this that you wouldn't have recognized them 6 months, a year, 2 years ago. They aren't the same people. They have absolutely blossomed. And some of them said that they didn't feel anything when they did whatever. When they did the Awakening the Immortals, or they did the 90-day challenge, or they didn't feel anything when they did that. But they kept doing that, and they kept doing the interdimensional meditation. And some of them, again, I've never seen anything like it. Lifetimes of transformation. Never seen anything like it. And I'm just now. There are some people that are far ahead of me. Some of you listening to me who are my students, you're far ahead of me. I've been given whatever title I've been given, but that doesn't mean that the fact that I'm king, that means that my job is to create a protective energy field around that new, infant Earth. We'll still be walking around, but imagine what would come out of the mind of a small child. A small child who wanted to create something beautiful. Imagine what would come out of that mind. That's what this 5D Earth is going to be. That's why everything has sparkly rainbows on it. That's why all of the plants respond to you. That's why, there's magic everywhere. That's why. Because she's a little girl. And my job is to make sure that nothing gets in the way of her having her most beautiful fantasy. So if you come with me to this new 5D world, that's going to be your job. That doesn't mean you can't be your own little child. I mean, I'm going to be protecting anybody that comes in there. And of course, the only way you get in there is you get to the right frequency, which means autonomously you've chosen to get there, you'll get there. But we all will have a responsibility to nurture and protect. I call her Princess Gaia. We have to take care of her. And imagine the children that are born in that world. They never have to go through that, having an invisible friend that only they talk to and the adults don't understand. They never have to go through that. They will be living it. They never have to go through that, having to grow up and stop being a little kid, because the planet on which they live, the goddess on which they live, will play with them. She will, I'm imagining she'll show up. I'm imagining we'll be there. Don't be surprised when we get there if you see a little girl running around. If you see a little girl running around by herself, maybe you'll know exactly who she is, maybe not, but make sure that you are nice to her and kind to her. And, we'll have to leave toys out for her. And it has to be, this new world is going to be a place where fun is the most important thing. Only thing that matters is that you're having fun. Nowadays, you say that to somebody, they're heading off to high school, college, or whatever. Is that the first thing you say? No. No. But in this world, the only thing that will matter is, did you have fun today? What did you do to have fun? Tell me your day. And when you sit around, in our cool little new homes, which, by the way, that's a whole, let me tell you something about that. Now, this isn't something that I've personally experienced, but I've heard it from two different people, and I absolutely know that it's going to be the case. There have been people who have found, this isn't even coming from me, but there have been people who have seen or found extraterrestrial craft. And the craft will be small. Like, it won't be very big. Maybe, 10 feet by 10 feet or something like that. But When you open the door and look inside, it's the size of, a soccer field. Look outside, no, it's only 10 feet by 10 feet. You look inside, there's a whole soccer field in there. People's houses are going to be like that. One of my people that I work with shared that with me. That, in meditation, went there and hadn't heard what I just told you. Hadn't heard from that, and it completely blew her mind. And she went to another planet with other beings there, and they were showing her around, and they said, "You used to live here. This used to be, you've come. This is your home when you're not on Earth. You live here." And the houses are very simple and small until you walk in the door, and then they're just these giant palaces inside. That's the kind of stuff that you can look forward to. I don't know where else I was going with that. So there's going to be a thing behind me. There's going to be a structure. If I'm sitting in my throne, there's going to be behind me, not like right next to me, but a little further down. There's going to be a structure there, and there will be a structure there where there's be another throne room where I can have meetings in case it's raining or something, because there will be rain. There will be weather there, and then there's going to be like these three. I don't know, not like pyramids. They're like cones, but three of one on top of another. And when you go into that throne room, there will be a staircase or something, and you'll go up, and you can go into each one of the three levels. And I haven't completely explored this, but each one of the three levels will give you access to other dimensions. And I believe it will also give you access to the three levels of Earth. So if I want to go and do some work and send energy to other levels of Earth, I can go and do that. Anyway, that's mine. I mean, I'm just giving you bits and pieces of mine, and to be honest, I haven't spent nearly enough time there. There was a while where whenever I went into meditation, I would get pulled there like the energy would pull me there. And the energy and the beings there would want me to create, what I wanted. And then at some point, they said, okay, it's built. We built it. So, we'll maybe find out what that means. All right, there's a bunch of other stuff. I was going to tell you some other stories, but I think I've talked long enough. I was going to tell you about the three most important people that are there, and how anyway, I'll share that another day. That's a whole other very, very interesting, trippy story. So, I think I'll end my talks right there. I do have access to my chat because I'm using a different browser. Let's see if there's any questions or anything. Film Sample says greetings. Celestial Wolf says hello. Thundra says hello. Pavak says hello. Ariel says hello. Jay says hello. Thunder Bunny is sending us love. Alright, maybe me love. Alright. Jay says that he also felt like he blew an energy gasket, but it also opened something. Yeah. I mean, I don't take it negatively. I don't take it like I was damaged. I take it like there was you have to, sometimes barriers have to be blown apart, expanded beyond. So definitely a lot of my attachments, were forcibly gotten rid of. So my experience is the same as yours. It blew an energy gasket, but it also opened something. What else? A couple of Aussies on there, so you guys know what I'm talking about, where I'm talking about. But you guys can go look it up. You can just type in Noosa National Park or Noosa, Australia, and you'll see all kinds of, it's just, I've never seen anything like it. There isn't any place in the States that has a forest like that. I've never seen anything like it. And when I was living there, where I lived in Coolum Beach, and from Coolum Beach all the way up to Noosa and beyond, my body, when I would go there, my body would say, "This is home. This is where I belong." I've never felt as perfectly peaceful as I did there. And I looked like, I don't know, I looked, I'd walk around with my mouth open and I would just smile and walk around and, I don't know, maybe people thought I was high or something, but yeah, best surfing in my life, best everything in my life. So I look forward to going back there, but I'm not getting on a plane ever again. So when I get back there, it's going to be in some other way, either spaceship or I'm going to shift myself there, but I'm never getting on a plane ever again. These things are, they're so energetically destructive to me. They're just wrong. All right, let's see what else. Skyward Sword wants to see dinosaurs. Fine with me. I'll transform into a dinosaur if you want. Yeah, that's me flying around Earth. Let's see. Ariel says, "Wow, that's amazing about your little girl. Makes a lot of sense." Celestial Wolf, "I want to go where you go. I've come across so many and feel like you have the most care." Thank you for that. Yeah, it's kind of tough because let's see, somebody just Anthony just threw down $10. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's kind of tough, I'm scrolling through looking for real people. I've experienced it, so I can tell when somebody's talking from experience. And unfortunately, I have to say that the vast majority of people are either con men and women, or they're delusional. There's another small category of people who have had experiences, but have also had, for instance, I met with somebody when I was in Australia. I met with somebody who had been abducted. And, I can tell when somebody's telling the truth and when they're lying. And I could tell she was telling the truth. And also the details that she gave were very specific to people who've been abducted. And so I knew she had been abducted. Now, she didn't ask me, and so I didn't tell her. But abductions are done by humans. They are humans. They are pretending to be, usually grays. But they have technologies you don't know about. They can get into your brain, make you see things that aren't there. They can mimic telepathic communications, but it's not the same. It's very forceful. It's very invasive. It's not actual telepathic communications. In any case, she went through that. She lifted up from the ground inside of it. But the thing is, there's always humans there. And so she talked about it, and there were other humans there, and there are people who have been taken captive. People who we believe have disappeared, who have not disappeared. Human beings who have been taken captive, and these people are tortured and abused and from a young age, and they are programmed to do this. So whenever you hear about abductions, whenever you hear about somebody talking about aliens abducting, what's behind that are human beings that have been horrifically abused, horrifically tortured, and they are very damaged people. And these are the people behind this. Just to let you know. So I was going to say there's a category of people who conflate the two. People who have had experiences with actual extraterrestrials, and some of them, like the woman I talked to, she had had both. You know, because the light beings, they care about you. And so she had been abducted and thought they were extraterrestrials. And you know, the fake aliens will mess with you. And one of the things they mess with you is that they do telepathic stuff or fake telepathic stuff, and they make you think that you're loved, and they tell you. This is why there are people out there who think that they are sperm donors for other races, and they're saving other races with their eggs or their sperm. That's all nonsense. The hybrid stuff is real, but it's done by humans. So humans are abducting humans, taking their fluids, and they are doing horrific experiments with the bodies of shot down extraterrestrials. And so that's what all that stuff is. I hope this stays on YouTube, doesn't get taken off. But that's what that is. So unfortunately, there's a group of people, even if they haven't been abducted, who conflate the two. There's no shortage of them, and it's very frustrating because they want the right things. They're sincere, but they haven't been given the proper information, and the majority of them have not experienced anything of any real substance. Maybe they've seen some, you know, they've done some CE5 and seen some things fly around. Maybe they've felt some goosebumps, but anytime that you hear anybody talking about war between different alien races, anytime you hear about anybody who says there are good aliens and bad aliens, anytime you hear about anything having to do with that, you can completely write them off. Either they're misinformed, either they're conflating. Lots of times they conflate. Some of them are lunatics. Some of them are con men. You can write it all off. And I'm telling you this as somebody, I'm not talking from theory. I know from personal experience. I've been there. And I know once you've been there, when you've really gone there, you will not have any doubts. There will be no part of you that thinks it's possible that this being right here, as scary as he might look, there is no part of me that thinks that there's anything in that being except for love beyond my comprehension. And this is where the new world is going to go. So that's why, again, you got to drop the fear. You've got to drop all of the fear. Because, I mean, there's nothing to be afraid of. And this is going to be my job. My job is going to be to protect that little girl, which will be the planet that I'm on. My job will be to send out energy and protect that. People will come. This is why on the 5D Earth, the new energy work will be the Maoshan spirit fighting, because there's nothing more powerful than that to protect from negativity. This is why I learned it. The first time I learned it, the first time I did the first posture that I was given, and I went home and I practiced it, and I did that first posture, which, by the way, looks a lot like what those guys do. I was filled with a huge amount of energy, and I saw in my mind's eye a nuclear bomb go off, and I felt something on my left side, telepathically tell me, "You've been chosen to learn this, and if you abuse it, it's like it has the power of a nuclear weapon, and if you abuse it, it will be taken from you." And then it was gone. So I wondered for decades what that meant. You've been chosen to learn this? What does that mean? I know exactly what it means now. It's because people who come and are on that level of Earth, there's going to be people, it's just going to be the thing, man. Instead of going to the park and doing Tai Chi, people will go to, the throne area. Hey, I'll meet you at the throne. And they'll be doing Mao Shan stuff there in the forest, underneath the rainbow stars. That's what I think is going to happen anyway. All right, let's see. A lot of purple hearts. I like that color. If my version of Florida is 70 degrees and sunny, Florida's hot. In the winter, it's cold. Northern Florida in the winter, freaking cold, man. But right now, I go outside and I melt. It's so hot, so humid. It's beautiful though. Don't get me wrong. I'm enjoying myself. As long as we don't get any storms, I'm fine. And as long as the storms show up offshore, like they did last week, I was surfing every day for until my body just couldn't handle it anymore. Because we had a hurricane offshore. It was giving me great waves. Film Sample, Mahadeva, I think you two blocked my comment. You were talking about downloading videos. You can do it for free with, Yes, so whenever you put a website on there, YouTube will block it. So the next time we talk, you can give me, I still have it, a program that would, tear them off, but YouTube now doesn't, blocks it from happening. The bats flying through my backyard send their love. No, bats are my friends. Let's see. Question. TT says, can ETs help people in purgatory? Well, TT, welcome to the channel. So I encourage you to watch videos on my channel about critical thinking. So if you know anything about critical thinking, you have to know what your assumptions are. So you have an assumption that is not proven, and I certainly don't teach it. You have an assumption that there's some place called purgatory, and your assumption is that people are sent there. So, and it's a Christian thing. And even though I used to be a Christian, I wasn't Catholic. That's a Catholic thing. I used to be Christian. I'm not anymore, and I've made a bunch of videos and written books about it. So to you, I'm saying this to you, I'm saying it to everybody. People, you follow my channel and you haven't read my books, go to michaelwilliamdenny, DENNEY.com. I have books about Christianity and religion, and I hope you'll read it so you can get rid of that nonsense. There is no such thing as purgatory. Having said that, there are plenty of places that souls can go after they die. They can create their own purgatory. When they're done beating themselves up, they can leave. So ETs don't need to go and help people in purgatory because they're not taken hostage. God hasn't sent them there. If they're in purgatory, they went there out of their own guilt. So anybody in any negative place, whether in 3D or purgatory or any other place like that, the moment that they make the decision to reach out to anything, they will be freed. So if there are people in purgatory and they're Catholic and they believe in God or Jesus, the moment that they reach out to Jesus, they will be taken out of it. So TT, welcome to the channel. If this were a while back, I would be really annoyed with you that you're asking questions and you're not watching my videos and reading my books. I'm getting less and less annoyed as time goes on. So I encourage you to learn what I teach, because it'll free you. My job is to free you from all that nonsense. If I get upset about a certain belief and I tell you to drop and forget about whatever the belief is, it's not because I'm coming from a place of I know it all. It's because I want you to be free. And I get angry at the thought of people being held hostage by anything, including beliefs. So the way to avoid getting me annoyed is by learning all the stuff that I teach. And that will free you. Because what I teach is that this is the freest multiverse you can possibly imagine. Outside of and by the way, our slavery here, our being trapped in the matrix, all of that stuff is true. It is self-generated and it is an illusion. All of it. That's why you got to drop the fear, because if you hold on, it's not that you can't be afraid, but if you hold on and self-righteously create a fear belief, like David Icke. If you follow David Icke and you listen to all the stuff he says, he's right about a lot of stuff, but the other stuff he talks about, the reptilians taking your soul and all that, that's his psychopathic fears. It's a belief. You have to choose to believe that. And if you choose to believe that, demons will come looking for you and then you'll believe it. You want to know how people get possessed? That's how it starts. People do get possessed. I know because I'm an exorcist. But it's done by choice. It's their own creation. If you choose to believe in any of that fear-based garbage, you create a frequency which creates a world. Purgatory, somebody asked about that, TT, that is a created world. It doesn't exist. It's a self-created world. Like God didn't create it, put it there, and then throws people in there. People go there because they create it within themselves. And they create it while they're alive on earth. This is the thing about when you leave your physical body. The reality you've indulged in, you will end up at. So people indulge in that kind of nonsense and the fear and the anger and the hatred and all of that. They're walking around with a bunch of other people, and then one day they get hit by a car and die. Guess what? They're going to wake up in a place of their own making. And it won't be that light beings and angels won't have come to try and help them. They won't be able to reach them. This is the other thing you don't understand. When you choose to be afraid, you are choosing to send away the light beings. I know because I've seen people do it. People that I know. In one case, I sent light beings to somebody I know. And he talked to me about it later. He sent them away. They couldn't reach him. Because it was too frightening for him. And the fear was about letting go of his 3D fear-based attachments. He didn't want to let go of it. So people, you have to take responsibility for everything that you do. So ETs don't need to help anybody in purgatory because that assumes that they're victims. They're not victims. I don't know why you would ask that question. I can't imagine you know somebody in purgatory. Obviously, you believe in purgatory and you're afraid of it. So hopefully I've destroyed that for you. But do the practices that I teach. Use this channel as a library and do the practices that I teach. Be as afraid as you want, but do the practices, and eventually it'll work. Eventually, if you want to be free, eventually you will. Some of you will get freed right away. Anyway, let's move on. Good for you. Tez talks about getting rid of some things that weren't working. Good for you. On my Rumble channel, I talk about something that is generally used for water purification. So Tez, go check that out. Go to my Rumble channel and look for that. It's on there. Anybody listening to me, go and check that out on my Rumble channel. I can't talk about it here on YouTube. Let's see what else. Some celestial wolf likes my friend behind me there. Okay, what else? I'm looking for some question or something I can respond to. Celestial Wolf got Awakening the Immortals. Good for you. It's very, very powerful. In case anybody listening wants to know what should I start with, go to thunderwizard.com, and in terms of powerful Qigong, go to thunderwizard.com and go to the shop and get Awakening the Immortals. Very, very powerful, very healing. If you want something to start with to really clean you out from the inside out and stimulate your kundalini and your chi and the electrical energy of the heart, do the 90-day challenge at thunderwizard.com. What else? All right, that's it, my friends. Robin Cooper says, what is Rumble? Rumble is another video platform. Rumble.com. Just go to rumble.com and then you can look for Thunder Wizard on there. It's not, is it Thunder Rumble? I don't know what that is. Oh, you're making a joke. That's a good one. All right. Are we all done? I'm all done. I don't see anything else here. Thank you, my friends. I appreciate you being here, and thank you for listening, and thank you for accepting me telling you the truth. Wait, Zinc just threw a question at me. Currently reading Advanced Rune Shamanism. That's one of my books. I'm interested in the part where you mentioned working with the Thurisaj rune. Which video in the shop explains working with the Thurisaj rune? I mean, if it's not in the title, you know, I can't answer the question because it should be self-evident. But if you want to just focus on that, you can. There's plenty of stuff. Oh, we talk about it here in the 90-day challenge. If you subscribe there, I believe, I could be wrong. It's been a long time since I looked at it, but I believe that there is Thurisaj rune mudra. There's Thurisaj rune stuff there as well. But in the shop, there's some rune video teachings and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so if you look for it, you should be able to find it somewhere in all of my stuff. Film sample, honest feeling. I sometimes get frustrated when I hear people experiencing powerful experiences, but I don't feel like I'm experiencing anything powerful. Yeah. You know, I've talked with you. I know you know that, and so I know what you've been through. And this may not make you feel good, but I can tell you from my experience that you have been powerfully affected, because the changes that you've made and the actions that you've taken can only happen if you had power. And you did not have the power when we first started interacting. You didn't have the power to do the things you're doing. So anyway, I don't want to take that away. I mean, I'm sorry that you haven't had an experience, but you might also be not understanding, you know, when I tell you about my experiences, a lot of them are things, I just meditate and I have these little fantasies, and then afterwards I go, that was interesting. And it's not until later when I do research that it really becomes clear to me that that wasn't just a fantasy. Sometimes the experiences are very overwhelming. I need that. So anyway, I'm not trying to take your lack of experience away from you, but I want you to have an experience, and I want you to give yourself the right to just relax into the fantasy. Don't make any conclusions about whether or not you had an experience. Just go do it and then watch what happens. And what will happen is the more that you open up, if you're anything like me, the more that you open up, the more powerful the experiences will become. Because part of it is there's a part of you that's denying that it's happening. I mean, I talked about, if you know, watch the video that I made about meeting Sasquatch. And I talked about if I hadn't had that experience, I wouldn't have seen my brain actually delete. My brain tried to delete the experience. And the only reason that my brain wasn't able to delete the experience was because the Sasquatch, you know, energetically jumped in there and broke my brain so that I couldn't do that. But if I had had my way, I would have had a supernatural experience with a Bigfoot that was not from our world. And if my brain had had that way, I would have, within minutes, simply forgotten that it happened. Which makes me wonder, how many experiences do we have that our brain deletes? So I'm saying that you may be having experiences, you're just talking yourself out of it, or downright your brain's, you know, gaslighting you and deleting you out of it. And, you know, all kinds of things in between. So anyway, I don't want to take your experience away, but maybe that helps. Are we done? I think I'm done. Yep. Okay. Yeah, Zinc did have a question, and I did read it, so thank you for that. All right, that's it. My friends, thank you so much for showing up. I love you all, and I promise that I will get back to doing these live meditations when my energy system has completely healed. I'm not going to do anything to damage myself. And part of it is I know that the light beings need to keep doing stuff, but feel free to go off and go to the galactic center. Kind of looks like that. Go to the galactic center and chant the Huar breath along with your guide, of course, into the galactic center if you want to continue to empower the world, because I can tell you that portal is open. It is open for business, so go make use of it. That's it. I love you all, my friends. Please remember, you're the most powerful being that has ever existed. The universe loves you unconditionally, and that you have value simply because you exist. In fact, there is nothing you can do which will ever make you more powerful and more lovable, more valuable than you are simply because you exist. There's nothing you can do to be more lovable than you are. And so all we're here to do is to awaken to what you are, which is far beyond anything you can possibly imagine. Having said that, my friends, thank you for creating this universe and allowing me to be in it. And I look forward to seeing you all very soon. Please take very good care of yourselves.